Got another jam on this fantasy playlist. Got loads of jams on this thing. Kids in Play, Rolling with Kids in Play. That was at number 36. Tribute by Pasadena at number 31. This is Acid by Maurice. Number 31, man, which is Birthday Suit by Johnny Camp. Woo! At number 17, Buck Wild by EU at number 18. Boy, this is a Friday night throwdown, a July the 4th throwdown. And now at number 8 on this fantasy playlist of March 18th, 1989. Was, not was, Walk the Dinosaur. A dance. You remember the song, I'm sure, Walk Like an Egyptian in 1986, early 87 by the Bangles. Well, a couple of years later, we got another dance song with Walking in the title. Walk the Dinosaur. Was, not was. Basically the brainchild of two guys from up north, David West, Weiss, in case I mispronounced the last name, and Don Fagenson. They grew up in Detroit. Childhood friends, started their musical collaboration in 1979. One of them, I don't know which one, had the infant son. His name was Tony. Might have been Fagenson's son. Tony was learning how to talk. He was about 2, 3 years old, and he would contradict himself. He'd say, blue, not blue. And he'd point to a cat. He'd say, cat, dog. Then he'll say dog. And then his parents would look at him disapprovingly, and Tony would say, not dog. He's just waiting for his parents to frown at him. Thus, they called themselves Was, Not Was. Try to get my southern accent out because it's easy to say was, not was. I'm from down in the sticks. You'd say, yeah, this is an Alabama guy right there. But anyway, their first album, now this is unbelievable. Their first two albums, they had some special guests. First album Was Not Was, 1981. Guess who played on that album? Doug Fieger of the Knack played on that album. He was a guest player. Doug Fieger, who co-wrote My Sharona, member of the Knack. Gosh, I don't know if you knew about what happened to Doug Fieger. He passed away 7 years ago. He had cancer. He had a couple of brain tumors removed. Then the doctors found that he had lung cancer, had about half of his lung removed. I mean, this was in a period of just a few years. Underwent chemotherapy and he passed away in 2010. He was 57 years old. That's very tragic. Gosh, dog it, man. He sang My Sharona so passionately. It filled up the AM and the growing number of FM airways back in the late 70s, summer 79. But anyway, another guy who played on that first album by Was, Not Was Wayne Kramer. Wayne Kramer of the MC5. Check out the jams, brothers and sisters. Remember that? One of the hardest records that ever came out. That was back in 68. Second album, Born to Laugh at Tornadoes. Among the guest musicians on that album, Ozzy. He rapped on a techno song on that album. Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, he did a song, a rockabilly record, I think, on that album. And Mel Torme contributed. Yes, the Mel Torme. So I need to listen to that album. That must have been something else. But the third album was really the charm for them. Their first two albums were very eclectic. Their first album Was Not Was, rock, pop, maybe dance, political satire, getting into the Reagan era in 1981 when their first album came out. And also Wes contributed some of his beat poetry on that album. But this third album that came out in 1988, What Up, Dog? That's the name of the album. Spy in a House of Love. Remember that one from, I think it was the summer of 88. I don't know if anybody remembers that song. First single, I think, off that album. Went to number 16 on Billboard's Hot 100. And then Walk the Dinosaur just flew right out. It was a hit right out of the ballpark. Fly ball. There it is. Did very well here in the States. Number 7 on Billboard's Hot 100. Number 1 overseas in Norway, Switzerland. Well, it went number 1 in Canada as well, and went to number 10 in Great Britain. How about that? great dance record. Was Not Was. Oh gosh, I forgot to mention one other thing. I gotta give the two guys who sang lead, Sweet Pea Atkinson and Sir Harry Bowen. They fronted Was Not Was. They were recruited in 1981 when Wes and Ferguson was making their first album, Was Not Was. But they were just great R&B singers, proficient at singing satire, novelty songs. Well, was not was, was not was. Walk the Dinosaur at number 8 on my fantasy playlist of March the 18th, 1989.